Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this showdown we are pitting membership sites against online courses and hopefully answering the question, which one makes the most sense for you? We're going to be going how they're similar, different, pros and cons, some software, and ways you can actually combine the two. So timestamp table of contents in the description along with some other helpful videos once you decide which one is right for you. So we'll kick things off with how we're going to define these two so we're all on the same page, and then we'll go into the similarities, differences, pros, and cons. So a membership site we're going to define as a digital product where customers pay an ongoing fee for access to digital content and or a person or group of people, whereas an online course is a digital product where customers pay a one-time fee to access digital content. Now, what's great about both of these is they both leverage your time, they both provide digital income and create a tremendous amount of work flexibility, and they both provide residual income. However, only one of them actually provides anything close to passive income, although we'll get to that in the pros and cons and the actual differences. So before we go into the differences and pros and cons, go ahead and take a look at this quick chart that breaks down how much you would need to charge per month on a membership side to equal a one-time payment for an online course. You can see charging $497 for a course winds up being about $41 a month. So just keep these prices in mind as we go through if one of the major concerns for you in choosing whether or not to do a membership site or an actual online course has to do with how much money you'll actually be receiving. So let's go ahead and go through the differences, because there are some big differences that you really need to consider when you're choosing which one to go with. And of course, the main difference is going to be the pricing model. A membership site is going to have some sort of reoccurring payment structure, whereas an online course is going to be a one and done. Now, the reoccurring payment, that can be monthly, quarterly, or annually. It doesn't really matter for these purposes, but the big difference here is one, there is going to be an ongoing payment, and the other, it's just going to be a one-time fee. Now, the second big difference between the two is because online membership sites have a reoccurring style payment plan to them, that means that there's an expectation of a reason for that ongoing payment. Whereas with an online course, you are asking for a one-time fee and then you're delivering a course, and that's pretty much where the expectations end. Whereas your customers or students or clients, if they're paying some sort of monthly fee, there needs to be a reason. There's an expectation that they're getting something on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis in exchange for that monthly payment. So the easiest way to figure out whether or not you should be doing a membership site where there's a monthly payment and there's an expectation of constantly providing information versus just creating an online course and maybe giving free updates or offering a small fee for course upgrades or updates later on, is thinking about the type of content that you have. And the best way to figure out what your expectation or what your clients or students' expectations is going to be is based upon your type of content. Now, the easiest way to illustrate how the type of content you have is going to influence whether or not you should go with a membership site or you should go with a course is just through an example. Let's say we have some productivity content and we have some stock market content. Well, with productivity content, most likely you're going to go the online course route because someone's going to go through the productivity content. There's not a whole lot that needs to be updated or kept up to the latest trends when it comes to productivity. So it would make sense to just have a course. Whereas with stocks, sure, we could have a course that teaches people how to trade stocks. But then if we wanted any sort of aspect of what stocks should you be buying now or what are the current trends in the market, well, it wouldn't make sense to just do that video or have that information one time because obviously the stock market changes a lot. So it would make sense to have a membership site where someone's paying a monthly or annual fee in order to get the latest stock tips or the latest market information. And so I realize that that's a really basic example, but when it comes to choosing whether you should go the membership route or you should be going the online course route, you need to also think about the freshness or how often the information needs to be updated. Because if you're going to be doing course updates every 6 to 12 months, then it doesn't really make sense to ask someone to pay a monthly fee. You can simply charge a one-time fee, get a lot more money up front, and then during your sales process actually offer lifetime updates as a bonus for someone shelling out $300 or $400 for your course. or you can always have course launches 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, although I'd highly recommend just having free course updates as a part of your sales process to help increase your sales rates. Whereas if you're doing something where there is an obvious expectation or obvious need for up-to-date information on a monthly or annual basis, then it might make a lot more sense to go with a membership site, because someone has the expectation that they need new information, and so they're going to be paying a monthly or annual subscription fee in order to get that latest information. So hopefully that helps you see the similarities and really the two big differences between the two options that you have. So now let's go through the pros and cons. So we'll start with the pros for the membership site. We have reoccurring revenue, and then we have a higher potential lifetime value for our customer because they're paying a monthly fee. For our online course, we have a higher initial fee, which means we get more money up front. We don't have to wait potentially months on end to actually equal what we would get over here for our membership site. And then we also have no update expectations, and we have lower maintenance costs. Now, when it comes to the cons of a membership site, you have more ongoing maintenance, expectations of new content and updates. You're going to have some chargebacks and low churn problems, which we'll get to in a moment. And then finally, wrapping things out, the cons for our online course, we have it's just a one-time fee, and there's no monthly engagement or interaction, which means it's easy for someone to purchase your online course, go through a couple modules, and then just kind of forget about it. Whereas with a membership site, you have a reason to keep contacting them and keep emailing them, bringing them back in to engage with the community that you have or the content that you have. So it's a lot easier to stay top of mind when you have a membership site, which is awesome. If you have other courses or other products to sell, it's going to be a lot easier. Whereas with a online course, you're going to be hitting a lot more people who haven't logged in for an extended period of time. Now, there are two cons with the membership side of things that we need to talk about. So the first one we need to talk about is churn rate. And this is that there's a lifetime value to every customer, which means they're not going to be a customer forever. A big mistake new entrepreneurs and business owners make when it comes to choosing between membership site and online course is they look at the membership site side and they go, oh, well, this would be awesome. So we'll just make money on customers forever. But the reality is customers aren't going to stay around forever. They're going to sign up for either 3 months to 12 months to 18 months, and then they're probably going to leave. And so while you can't really know how long someone's going to be in your membership site until you actually do it, it is something you want to keep in mind, which is why I come back to the math that we talked about in the very first part of the video, talking about the similarities, where a good rule of thumb is just to assume you have a nice average churn rate in your membership site, which means the number of people who drop off, and say on average you're going to have a customer for a year. So you'll compare your monthly price to what you would charge for the same information or same type of product at a one-time fee. So if you're going to charge something like $200 for your course, then that would be the equivalent of $16 a month. And of course, you might find out that people go longer than 12 months, and then it does make sense. But in the beginning, I think 12 months is a good average to start with. And then of course, as customers and data come in, as customers and data comes in, you'll be able to make a much more informed decision. But here, you're pretty much making a shot in the dark. Now, the second big con that we need to talk about when it comes to membership sites, which is something you probably haven't heard of because I haven't seen it talked about anywhere, and that is the problem of chargebacks. So if you don't know what chargebacks are, I'll go over them real briefly, and then I'll go into the problem we face as business owners and entrepreneurs. So all a chargeback is when a customer goes to their credit card company, they call up and say, hey, I don't want to pay for this item. And the credit card company looks at it and goes, oh, okay. And then they do something called a chargeback on your merchant account. So it doesn't matter what payment processor you are using, you are vulnerable to this. Everyone who accepts a credit card is vulnerable to this. And so there are two big problems with this. Number one, it's very hard to fight these chargebacks. Credit card companies like keeping their customers happy, and you and I are very, very small fish in the grand scheme scheme of things. And so it's very, very difficult to actually keep the money. And the second big problem is particularly when it comes to membership side of things. Obviously, you can have a chargeback on your course, even if you have a 30 or 90 day guarantee, where you're probably not going to have something like that with a monthly recurring membership. You're probably going to have something that's 14 or 30 days max. But the issue in both cases, but mainly over here with your membership site, is if someone calls up their credit card company and says, I don't want to pay for this, charge back, they're not only going to charge back all the months that they paid for the membership, but each month is going to count as a separate chargeback on your merchant account side. Now, why is this a big deal? Because merchant accounts don't like seeing chargebacks, because typically chargebacks are a result of someone who's running around scamming people. And while you are probably not running around scamming people, when it comes to selling digital products, we are automatically put in the potentially scam camp. And so when a merchant account sees a bunch of chargebacks, it doesn't matter, it's from the same person who charged back 12 months worth of payments, you are going to find that your merchant account might be canceled, it might be suspended, or you just might get a bunch of warnings at best. So it's definitely something to consider and think about. Most average consumers don't even know that they can do it, but it only takes 2 or 3 people who charge back 6 to 12 months worth of reoccurring payments for your merchant account to be very, very unhappy with you. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's probably not going to be a huge deal, but if I can save just one person from the headache that comes with having a merchant account canceled because of 2 or 3 customers, then it is worth including in this video. So really, really, with you, if you go the membership route, make sure you stay on top of those refunds and chargebacks. And really, it's always better to just give someone a refund, and as opposed to risking a chargeback on especially when it comes to reoccurring, because credit card companies are really slapping down on reoccurring payments. Okay, so hopefully I didn't scare you too much. Let's go ahead and go through some actual ideas for your membership site and for your online course. So we'll start with the online course because that's the simpler one. So when it comes to creating an online course, you're typically going to charge anywhere from $37 to $47 to $97 for low end. And then when you start into the masterclass, you're going to look at $197 all the way up to $997 or $1,000. And so these can range from just a couple of videos to a full-blown, 6 or 7 hour implementation program, complete with blueprints and PDFs and downloadable guides. And all of these should be designed so that people can go through them and you don't have to spend any time individually with any person outside of helping them reset their password or actually get access to their account. So just tech support stuff with those types of courses. Now, when it comes to a membership site, of course, there's an expectation that there's going to be some sort of interaction or some sort of update. So if we're looking at real-time updates, then you're providing something like a newsletter or weekly or monthly video. And then the other type of membership site, which is another popular one, is the group mastermind style, where you hop on a live stream or you hop on a pre-recorded, or you create something that's pre-recorded where people can ask you questions. And so you can do any combination of those. So your membership site can either be you're creating information and you're just pushing it out on a monthly basis because that's what people need in real time, or it can be something where you are showing up and people are paying to have access to you or your team to ask questions. And so one of the great things that you can do if you want to try and combine these two is to start by creating a course, create your $47 or $997 course, and then as an upsell, offer a membership site where it's anywhere from $15 to $50 a month. Now, these prices are going to range all over the place. It's just going to depend on your niche. In the stock market and investing niche, it's reasonable to ask for $50 to $100 a month for a monthly mastermind because the information is so important and does have such a huge financial impact. Whereas other niches like productivity, you're probably going to be hard pressed to ask for $100 a month for a productivity mastermind simply because it's a much more steep value proposition. So those are some ideas you can do for your course. The last type that actually combines both of them into one program is creating a done with you implementation program where you have all of the content that you would have in a $1,000 course, but you charge anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 because you're physically going to jump on a live call or live webinar where you actually walk all your students through each step. So this works really well if you have something that's very, very complicated, or you're just looking to charge a higher price and you really want to help hold people's hands through a process. Typically those programs go anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So now that you have an idea of the main differences between the two, and then some ideas for what individually they could look like and how you can combine them, now finally we have software, and this could be a video in and of itself. So we're going to quickly go through what you should and should not be looking at when it comes to software for your membership site or online course. Now the good news is no matter which one you choose, all of these softwares are going to work. With a membership site though, you're probably going to want to use something that allows you to do live streams outside if you don't want to just use Google Hangouts and create a private hangout for your live streams inside your membership site. So we have Teachable and Thinkific as our top two picks for non-self-hosted solutions. And then if you insist on using WordPress, we really don't recommend using WordPress for membership sites. It's not designed for it. We've had so many problems and bugs and issues with every single plugin and theme that we have used. But if you absolutely insist on using WordPress, then definitely check out Thrive Themes, MemberMouse, or Wishlist Member. Those would be the top three to look at when it comes to putting together a membership site on your WordPress site. But I highly, highly recommend you look at Thinkific and Teachable to host your online course, because it's going to save you so much time and headache, not only in the setup, but also in the maintenance. Because when you're paying a monthly fee to one of those services, your online course gets to as close to passive income as it can be, because you don't have to worry about making sure your software is staying updated. And it's a lot easier for those systems to figure out refunds and resetting passwords than compared to WordPress, where you're going to have a lot more manual maintenance, keeping your membership site or online course students happy and having access to their content. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. And most importantly, you have a much better understanding of whether or not you should go the membership route or you should go the online course route. So hopefully now that you've made that decision, I highly recommend you check out this next video where we go through some different concrete ideas and take a deeper dive into how you can combine these two and different combinations you can create for your upsells to really maximize your income and of course deliver more value to your audience. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more detailed marketing and online business videos just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.